Hello, digital art students. This is Mr. House. It's April 16th, 2015. I'm here with bright, talented second period computer graphics. We're looking at the Czech poster assignment. And here it is. The heart of this assignment is you take a recent film, book, game, and make a poster that's inspired by Czechoslovakian art from the 1950s. Kind of weird, but really good to explore the principles of design. The one I've been really looking at is repetition. These elements here are repeating. It brings our eyes to important parts of this image. And it also just makes for a very nice looking image. And down here we can see repetition. Yeah, also known as pattern, yada, yada, yada. Okay, next. Let's look at some examples of Czech posters on Tumblr. Whoa, all sorts of different looks. This one is pretty wild. Of course, Tumblr's just not going to work for me. We'll see if that opens up. This one I just caught my eye recently. Have these circles in color. Here we go. So right away, we have something close to symmetry, yeah? But it's not perfect symmetry. And I want to tell you, this is more interesting to look at than if it was exactly down the middle. There's something about something that looks handmade and a little cockeyed. Because this does not look like something really precise. It looks like cut paper. But it's very interesting, and I have no idea what this is because it's in another language. But this could be a famous book, something like that. Someone in Czechoslovakia is going to know what it is. And it just becomes an interesting image. It's kind of like we're going down an esophagus, maybe. And down here's the stomach, where all this crazy stuff is happening. You know? Who knows? I just like the look. Come on, Tumblr. What's going on here? I want to go back. I feel old right now. Why can't I do this? Honestly. Damn it. Who can help me? How do I get out of this? There we go. I don't know. Anyway, once again, here's this one. Caught my eye. And in a totally different way, here we have color. Okay, in the background, it's this high contrast, meaning black and white. A lot of difference in this image of a man standing there. And then this artist has used color in shape. And here, it's highlighting this. I don't know what that is, but it might be important. Here, this is kind of random. And then in the rest of these is information about this book. This is actually here, it says Český film. This is a film. I don't know which film it is, okay? But you could make a poster that is inspired by something like this that looks nothing like posters nowadays, but is about a film, book, game that you're into. Okay, I think we got the idea. Let's go back here. Now, I'm very excited to show you current student art. Brianna, I won't give her full name to protect her identity, has created a poster for the film American Sniper. It's not done yet, which is really good for us, but it is a really nice looking image. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit here and make Photoshop a little bigger. And here we have this image that obviously has elements of the American flag. Right away, the symbol of the American flag relates to the title, American Sniper. And what principle of design do you see in this big time?
Repetition.
Repetition, definitely. And it's repetition that actually means something because it's the stripes of the flag. But this flag has been deconstructed a little bit. That is a really important term for Czechoslovakian art. A lot of times things are deconstructed to make us think, wait, what does this mean? Because meaning is not always so simple. And American Sniper is not a simple film. It has deep meaning, and people take different meanings from it. The way this is the crest of the United States, it has the eagle, a very important symbol. It's interesting that these stripes are going right through it. It brings up this issue of what does that mean? Usually in a normal poster, this emblem would be sitting on top. It would be on a top layer, and it would show the perfect eagle. Nothing wrong with it. But here we have these bars going right through it, kind of breaking it up. Then we have Uncle Sam behind the stars being repeated, lined up. Okay? Then there's this old 50s car. And then there's this dice here. It's, I think, a 20-sided dice, maybe? And that gives me this, like, whoa, what does that mean, a roll of the dice? Especially with a sniper. Now, there are two primary elements that are missing from this to make it a poster. What do posters usually have? Titles. Yeah, there's no writing on this poster yet, which is great. It allows me to mess with it a little bit. And then there's one symbol that relates to a sniper. Man, that could really be used. What do you think? There's a bullet, sure.
Sniper rifle.
A rifle. What about a sight? What do you look down? I mean, that's the view of the sniper. They have to look through a scope and decide, does this person live or do they die? So I'm going to look for an image of a sight from a scope of a rifle, and I'm going to figure out some type, okay? So, and this process that I'm going through is one that you can't think of everything at the beginning. What's nice about this is Brianna started this with the process you guys have been playing with, is finding old photos, doing stuff to them, using repetition, principles of design, and she got to this place, and then it's kind of like, oh, now what? And it inspires this, oh, you know, this gets me thinking, I'm gonna look for this now. And so this kind of art is not something that you just think of all at once. You're like, oh, I know exactly what it's gonna be. You discover things as you go, okay? All right. So I go to Google, and I'm going to first look up sniper scope sight. Let's try that. There we go. And I go to images, and right away I'm going to go to search tools and choose a large size. And I think I want black and white. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm just going to choose this one. I'll go to View Image to get the largest size. Here I am on the picture. I right-click and choose Copy Image. Go to Photoshop. I'm going to create a new layer and edit Paste or Command V, and I have this big, and I'm going to zoom out a bit so that I can shrink this thing a little. So I show the transform controls, shrink it down. That should work for now. Zoom back in, and what I'm pretty sure I want to do is use a sight up in this portion of the poster, a sight that is going to work with type. Okay, so I'm going to pick some type and write in American Sniper and try to mix it with this symbol. All right? And this is the first time I've tried this. I'm just kind of going with it. So right away, I can tell that I need to get rid of some of the black on this site. So I'm going to go to the marquee tool, finish my transform there. And I'm going to select a chunk of this over here and delete it. And I don't like what just happened because I had this set to a feather. A feather is something that blends the edges of your selection and fades them out. I don't want that. I want this to be a hard edge. So Command D, and now I've set the feather to 0. Good, we're back in business. I hit delete, away it goes. Come over here and delete. Perfect. All right, I've got the scope shape I want to use. I'm going to leave it here on a layer and call this scope. Next, I'm going to go to the type tool and click over here somewhere. And sometimes you have to say things like, baby needs a new pair of shoes. Baby needs a new pair of shoes, because it's running out of memory right now, I can guarantee you. So the type tool is there. I'm going to write in, let's make this type pretty big. I'm going to write in American, and we'll leave it at that. I select this. I'm going to make it white type right now. And I'm going to look in this list of fonts, except I'm just going to click in here and move down. And notice I can see a change here. And maybe it would be easier for me to look at this in a darker area. There we go. Go back to the type tool and click in here, and I use the down arrow. And I'm looking for a style that's a little bit rough, a little bit primitive. And I may not find the thing that I really want. But I'm going to keep looking. Ooh, maybe it's just the stencil. Okay? That could work. All right. I've got something. I'm going to add sniper to this. Move it over here maybe. Click on this layer with the scope and move it on top. And it's going to block this a little bit. But what could I do with a layer mode to blend these together? Let's see what happens. So I go here and maybe try multiply. I can't really see the scope very well anymore. Let's try a different one. So I'm going to go down to difference. Do you see what that happens? What that did? So it kind of flipped the color where it intersects with American Sniper. And that kind of draws you into this part at the beginning of the word. What I can tell you is this is not done. I don't like this, but you can see that I'm playing around with this image, bringing in words, more symbols that relate to the film. And yet it still has this very weird, we're not sure what this is about, which is kind of what Czechoslovakian art is all about. It's not this very clear meaning. We want to make things a little more complicated than that. So I'm gonna leave it at that and end this film. Thank you for learning.